Oh, what do you...
I'm going to try and brute force it.
Brute what?
Wait, is this different?
A brute force attack is... Well, the short version is that I just attack the thing head on. The long version?
Without looking up or slowing down, she began to
A
explain.
brute force attack is one of the simplest ways to break a cipher. It checks every possible combination until it finds the right one. For a complex cipher, it can take a very long time. I'm writing a program that would run an attack like that on its own. It's not the most elegant solution, certainly. But given the circumstances, there isn't much else I can do.
Even as she talked, her fingers never slowed or missed a key. This is the first thing that's different, by the way. So I did both of these, and I observed no difference. I don't know what changed exactly now that those keys are there, but I didn't see it, whatever it was. Even as she talked, her fingers never missed or slowed or missed a key. Junpei couldn't help but feel a little awed.
Oh, but back to what we were talking about earlier.
What were we talking about?
The wireless display? It's kind of strange if you think about it, isn't it? How do I put it? Well, let's say you write a program that calculates an addition problem for you, all right? So you enter 1 plus 1. The screen will show you 2. See? Isn't that strange?
No? Not really.
Oh, come on now. Of course a caveman like you would think it was strange. You said so just a minute ago. You're just not getting it, are you? Who calculated 1 plus 1?
The machine.
The main computer, right? You said it connected to the monitor wirelessly.
Yeah, but someone who grew up in a cave wouldn't know that, right? They'd probably think that this thing here, the monitor, is doing the calculating. And once they've decided that, they'll start examining this monitor. They might poke the screen or something. Ah, I see the color changes when I press it here. Then they might investigate the hardware on the inside. Oh, I see. So this wire supplies the power. Eventually, they might even cut the wires. Ah, yes. Just as I expected. When this wire is cut, no results appear.
What exactly is your point?
Therefore, it must be this device which does the calculations.
Oh.
But the truth is that, just like you said, the computer is doing the calculating. But these cave people wouldn't know that, because they have no idea that the monitor and the computer are connected wirelessly.
Okay, sure. Why are we talking about this? Lotus continued to type. Junpei scratched his head.
So, what are you trying to say?
So, finally, the first sensible thing to come out of his mouth.
Nothing, really.
Oh.
It's just, I thought maybe, what if the relationship between human beings and our brains is like that?
Huh?
Oh, I've heard this idea before, that, like, our soul isn't stored in our head. The brain is just a receiver, but the soul is somewhere else. I've heard this before.
Well, let's say you stick a bunch of electrodes into parts of the brain. A scientist examining the signals they send out might say, interesting. So stimulating this part of the brain causes the person to see colors. That must mean this neuron cluster controls that function. Okay, let's see what happens when I cut out this part. Ah, just what I thought. Cutting off this part causes that function to cease. Therefore, human thought processes must occur in the human brain. See? Doesn't it sound the same? Maybe the brain is just an output device, like this monitor. Maybe our thought processes actually occur somewhere else, in a main body. We just don't know it. We never even think about it. Just like those cave people wouldn't know about wireless communications, we can't imagine that there's some unknown medium that transfers information into our brains, where we experience that information as thoughts.
It is an interesting thought, definitely. Junpei didn't say anything. Not so much because he had no retort. No, her argument just seemed silly, and he was a little surprised hearing something like that from someone like her. I mean, it's an interesting idea. Is it true? Probably not. But, you know, it's a fun thought.
The brain is just an output device. Human thought actually occurs somewhere else. That's just crazy talk.
I see. So how do we tie this into the morphogenetic field? We're all part of the morphogenetic field, and our thoughts are just getting transmitted out to the human bodies. Yes. Something like that, probably. Did Lotus really think that? He wondered. It was a little creepy, Junpei thought. It sounded all too much like a bizarre cultish religion. You need to take it a couple extra steps before it starts becoming a natural religion. You could kind of just socket that theory onto, like, basically anything.
Maybe that's the cause of Seven's amnesia.
Oblivious to Junpei's increasing discomfort, Lotus
If
continued.
memory is actually stored somewhere else, in some sort of main body somewhere, maybe he hasn't forgotten anything at all. He's just having a difficult time accessing his memories because the monitor, his brain, has been damaged.
Huh.
I suppose that would explain aphasia and blindsight, too. Perhaps they actually can speak or see. The monitor just isn't functioning properly. I guess people with prosopagnosia could be suffering from the same thing.
No shot, you just bust out the word prosopagnosia. No shot, you just bust that one out right there. Come on. I thought saponification was bad.
Wait a minute. What?
He knew what aphasia was from watching medical dramas on TV, and blindsight was easy enough to guess, but he'd never heard the word prosopagnosia.
What? You've never heard of prosopagnosia?
You know, I don't think that's a common word that gets thrown around, really. I can think of basically one place I've heard that word before. It's right here. Lotus spun around in his chair and looked at him. Junpei just shrugged and shook his head.
What is it?
Well, put simply, it means a condition where the mind can't distinguish between human
Oh, it's the technical term for face blindness. Ah, I see. This is how we're gonna figure out that Ace has face blindness. Ah, it's nice to know I was correct, because they're suddenly bringing this up out of nowhere.
In other words, my face would look the same as Clover's or even yours, so they can't remember faces, which is how most people recognize each other. That means that people with prosopagnosia have trouble recognizing even people they're close to. Usually they can make do by associating people with other things. Their voices, their clothes, their hair.
Does that mean other people's faces look like blanks?
No, I don't think so. Well, you've seen monkeys, like in a zoo, right? To you and me, all the monkey faces look the same, even though they've obviously got faces. It's almost impossible for a human to distinguish between them. The zoo staff that works with them would learn to identify different monkeys eventually, but you or I couldn't unless one had a scar or something else to set it apart. Well, that's how people would be to someone with prosopagnosia.
Never heard it put quite like that, but that is the most, I think, straightforward way to explain it.
Prosopagnosia.
As someone who doesn't have it, so
didn't even know
therefore
that
has
thing
no
existed.
idea. Junpei did his best to act as though the entire lecture hadn't gone entirely over his head. You dim-witted fuck, you buffoon, you absolute Neanderthal. You are the caveman looking at the pictures on the walls made with shadows. How did you not follow what she just said? It was very straightforward.
And, what were we talking about?
The idea that your brain is just an output device, like a monitor.
Are you serious about that stuff?
Not really. I was just kidding for about half of it.
What about the other half?
Well, I guess I was just adulting.
Not funny.
Lotus's smile had something rather masochistic to it. Okay.
It's nothing more than a story I made up out of boredom. Don't take it seriously. It was the first thing that came to mind, and I just talked about it to kill time.
Huh? But what do you mean? That's an actual condition and, like, theory that people have. What are you talking about?
But looks like I don't need to talk anymore.
Why?
Thank God she finally stopped, by the way. That was getting very annoying.
I don't have to kill time any longer.
As she spoke, Lotus raised her right arm high and brought it down on the enter key.
Oh, then you finished that brute whatever thing?
I certainly did. And let's see what we got.
Chunks of text flicked on and off in quick succession, and then a line of numbers appeared, blinked, and disappeared. The screen cleared, and all that was left was the word accepted.
Piece of cake.
Lotus would clearly have patted herself on the back if it would not have made her look entirely ridiculous. After a few seconds, the accepted disappeared to be replaced with 9 squares
Screen
arranged.
changed again.
No idea.
Huh? Aren't you?
No, I can't do anymore. See?
Yeah.
Nothing. So, well...
Let me in. Let me in.
I guess you're right.
No problem.
Now,
Alright. I don't remember it. Please, no, you don't need to tell me, man. Just show me the file. That one. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Junpei, you went into door 5 with my brother,
Oh,
right?
ooh. Here we go.
Did you hear him say, like, anything weird?
Door 5 was the casino. And the piano room. Did Snake say anything weird in either of those rooms? The thing is, those were some of the first things we did, so it's very hard to remember. Nothing stood out to me. You know, nothing like on the same level as Ace's conversation, at least.
huh?
Why is she asking me this, Junpei wondered. The more he thought about it, however, the more it made sense. Snake had been gone for a long time. Clover was quite attached to her brother. Of course she would have been worried about him.
Well, let me think.
He thought back to when he'd gone through door 5, hoping he might remember something, even a small something that would help her. However...
Sorry, Clover. I can't really think of anything. I mean, he did mention that his hearing exceeds that of a regular person, or something like that, but that's about it.
Okay.
Clover's words were barely audible. She nodded vaguely to Junpei and turned to walk away.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't know if I should ask you things, but if you don't mind, I was hoping you could tell me if, is Snake, I mean, was he born?
Yeah, he's probably born.
You're talking about his eyes?
Yeah.
No, he wasn't born blind. When he was a kid, he got in an accident. A really bad car accident. He couldn't see after that. And his arm.
His arm?
Yeah. My brother's left arm is, it's not like a normal person's arm. It's fake. It's not a real arm. The accident hurt him really bad. To save him, they had to cut off his arm.
Oh.
Is that all you wanted to ask me?
Talking about a brother had clearly taken a great deal out of Clover. Junpei nodded.
Look, I'm sorry for making you talk about all that painful stuff.
It's not that.
Clover only shook her head and walked off down the stairs. Was that it? Can I skip the rest of this? Yes, delightful. And we're just going all the way back down to the engine room. Just the engine room, not the handle. Handle, unnecessary. Alright, now we know now what face blindness is. That's the key fact. Now, we go upstairs. And we go through, not that door. We go through this door. We want the handle. Is it you? Yes. Nope, for fuck's sake, give me the handle. Wonderful. Stop. Back across. We're on C now. Winch me. Now, is this where we get the extra dialogue? So we had a little chit-chat here a second ago. Oh, a second ago. You know what I mean.
I believe the box.
Yeah. June's...
She doesn't seem to...
Well, of course not.
What could be causing...
Nah, it's... She gets dry if you think about it.
So you're saying...
Yeah, we're just running... How the hell? We're just...
A guinea pig? You mean like a lab rat? You mean we're being used? Is that what you're saying?
Dunno, but... You know, speaking of experiments,
Here we go. Santa suddenly stopped.
there was this experiment some scientists did with rats. First, they took a squarish C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water that the rats could drown in it.
Alright, this sounds like it's going to be a fun experiment.
The tank has 2 exits.
Remember to stay hydrated.
Just to make it easy, we'll call one A and the other B. Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see anything.
Okay.
But exit B is electrified, which means the rat can't leave through it.
Okay.
So, what would a rat do if it was put in this situation?
Well, it kind of has to go through the dark one, right? Because if it just can't open the electrified door, what's it gonna do?
Which exit would the rat choose?
But then I suppose they need to know that the exit is there to begin with. If the place is so dark, how would they know? There was a moment of silence after Santa posed the question, then Ace responded.
B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified.
Exactly. The rat goes to exit B. Of course, like I said, it's electrified, which means the rat can't get out that way. So, after a lot of trial and error, the rat finally finds exit A.
I can't say that's very interesting or relevant. It's simply the story of a laboratory experiment.
And a pretty mundane one, so what's the twist?
You're right. It isn't very interesting. Yet. See, these scientists repeated this experiment over and over.
Oh, do they just start figuring out that the exit is there without doing trial and error?
Using hundreds of different rats over several generations. This produced some surprising results. With each generation, the rats took less time to find the correct exit.
Okay.
Eventually, a rat was put in the tank who instantly chose exit A without even attempting to go to exit B. But that wasn't the most impressive part. The same experiment was conducted in another laboratory, far from the original one, with the same results. No, on second thought, the results weren't really the same. The rats in this second experiment began the trials with significantly faster times than the first rats in the initial one.
Okay, so we're just doing morphogenetic fields again here, basically.
These rats weren't related to the others and had never even come in contact with them. And yet, they all easily found their way to exit A as though they already knew. What did it mean?
Are you suggesting something like telepathy? They were passing information to one another through some undetectable medium?
I think, you know, the game's not very subtle, is it? It's like you get told the same story with a different coat of paint, like 8 different times, and it's like, oh, okay, so obviously we're doing this morphogenetic field telepathy thing, right? Because, like, every other story revolves around it. Ace looked skeptical. Santa snorted at him.
How the hell would I know? I'm not any kind of scientist. I don't know what made him do that. But I do know that story's true. And if you've got another explanation, I'd sure love to hear
The
it.
morphogenetic field, you ignoramus. What else could it possibly be? Have you never heard of the morphogenetic field? I know how to explain this to you. Let me tell you an anecdote about EDT first.
Come on, let's get going. There's still a lot here we haven't checked out. And we gotta get the hell out of here before June passes out.
Was that really it? Without waiting for a response, he turned and started walking. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave the topic alone.
Hey, wait. There's something I want to ask you.
What?
Santa stopped and turned around.
Why did they use that tank for the experiment?
Huh? What? Huh?
Huh?
Yeah. Well, finally, we agree on something. What do you mean? I hadn't questioned the tank even a single time.
Well, I mean, it seems like you could conduct the same experiment without the water.
Oh. I guess.
They could have just used a dry box, you know?
Yeah. You're right. Huh. What does the water have to do with anything? Good point. Rare Junpei W. Good point.
If they needed to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put some bait by exit B or something. I mean, do they really have to make it so the rats can drown?
Santa gave a grim bark of a
You know,
laugh.
the word emergency comes from the same root as the word emerge.
Okay. Who asked?
You ever think about that?
No. Not a single time, actually. Can't say I find myself wondering about the root words very often.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, an emergency is something urgent, often something dangerous. And to emerge means to sort of come out, or appear, or rise out of something else.
Alright. What is he cooking?
So what's going to emerge in an emergency? Inspiration.
Okay. What does this have to do with the water, really? You know?
Inspiration?
Yeah. Think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up what you need.
So in an emergency, your real potential emerges. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. There had to be an emergency for inspiration to emerge.
I don't know. This doesn't seem very ethical to me. But, you know, Harlow's Monkeys wasn't exactly ethical, but, you know, I suppose that was useful. As fucking disgusting as it was, we did learn something useful.
Oh.
Junpei suddenly felt cold. The back of his head was aching and his stomach felt strange. Good talk. That's everything we needed to do here, correct? Fantastic news. Now, oh, thank God. Oh. It's the early part. I don't need to do the thing again. I would have absolutely just looked up the solution. I would not be doing that shit a second time, I promise you. Huh. Just then, Junpei heard a noise. He spun around just in time to see June collapse in front of the fence.
Hey! June, are you okay?
She did not respond. Junpei spun back around to face Ace.
I'm sorry, I gotta go check on her. You finished the box thing, alright?
Ah, here comes some irrefutable evidence that he can't do it.
Just put the cards in the boxes. I'm counting on you.
He shoved the cards into Ace's hands and ran off toward June.
Are you alright? What happened?
Junpei called out to her as he ran.
Can you stand?
As he arrived, June was climbing to her feet with Santa's help.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just tripped.
Don't give me that. Now is not the time.
But it's true. I tripped over a box.
Just let me see for a sec.
Junpei put his palm on her forehead.
You're still warm.
Her temperature was much the same as it had been the last time he checked. She wasn't hot, like she had been before, but she was still warm. Her fever wasn't completely gone.
I saw her fall. I think she really did just trip on something, you know?
Yes, this was just a distraction so that we could get some evidence. Junpei would have been more willing to agree if June hadn't needed quite so much help standing up.
To fall down like that? I think she's probably still a little messed up.
June was doing her best to busy herself while brushing dust off her dress. Her smile looked a little embarrassed and her face was a bit flushed. But she did look a great deal better than she had. Still.
Alright, well, let's just get out of here as fast as we can so we can get you to a hospital.
Oh, I don't think it's anything that serious. I just need a little medicine and some sleep, and I'll be fine.
Medicine. Medicine, huh? Well, if we could get in touch with anyone outside, I'll bet Ace could swing that for you easy.
Hmm? What makes you say that?
Ace? Why?
Huh? Don't you know? He's the president of a pharmaceutical company.
He's the what now? He's the what now? He's who? What? What? Since when? Why? I'm asking why you know this. It's obviously going to be Cradle Pharmaceuticals, which you're associated with. But since when?
Cradle Pharmaceuticals is the name, I think.
So, my friend, you didn't think it prudent to share this information at some point.
Your flagship product is an anesthetic drug called Soparil.
Soparil. Soparil. I've heard of that before somewhere.
Junpei couldn't shake the feeling that he'd heard about Soparil before. Isn't that just what Ace used?
Soparil. It's an anesthetic that's a gas at room temperature. A lot like how nitrous oxide is.
Alright, that's a very specific fact. That's obviously important.
It takes only a few seconds to spread, and even a small amount is very effective. A bunch of countries quickly accepted it for widespread use within their police and military forces.
The canisters that they used to knock us out was probably that. But the guy in that outfit didn't really have the same kind of build as Ace, it didn't look like. Ace is quite tall, whereas the person in the mask looked to be roughly the same size as Junpei.
It was an effective crowd suppressant and room clearer. It was practical, ethical, and the humane nature of it made it the ideal drug. It's been around for about 6 years. They developed it from the extracts of several different roots.
That kind of slipped me by. I don't know that I would describe using a gaseous anesthetic on crowds as ethical. Not the choice of words I would use.
It became popular almost as soon as it was made public, with many governments placing large orders.
Oh, I bet they did.
Demand for Soparil skyrocketed, and of course that meant Cradle Pharmaceuticals' stock did too.
Why do you know all of this?
Because he's a stockbroker, apparently. Santa's information was interesting, but Junpei couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. Santa's reply was blunt and simple.
I heard it from the old man himself.
Huh? He just told you that?
From Ace? When?
By the number 4 door at the central stairway, when we were searching the second-class room. Remember how Snake, Seven, and you went to door 5? It was back then. I asked him what he did for a living, and he said he ran his own company. After that, we just started talking, and I guess it just came up, you know?
That is not how any of our conversations go. Not one of our conversations has been that normal. Nobody has just gone, hey, what do you do for a living? And gotten a straight response. All of them have been like, do you know about the curse of the mummy on the Titanic? Or do you know about EDT? No shot you had such a normal conversation with Ace. I don't buy it.
Huh.
Are you worried about something?
No, nothing.
As he spoke, Junpei looked over toward Ace. He seemed to be having difficulty with the 9 boxes.
What the hell is he doing?
He turned back to June and Santa.
June, don't push yourself, all right?
Yes.
Santa, could you take care of her? I'll go check on Ace. Looks like he's having trouble.
Sure.
He gave them both a short nod, then turned and headed toward Ace.
What are you doing?
Ace's back was to him as Junpei approached. The older man turned around to look at him. His face was pale and covered in sweat.
What happened?
Nothing. My vision has gotten rather blurry, I think, because of fatigue. I can't see very well at the moment.
What can't you see well?
These pictures.
Ace held the cards out to Junpei, splayed in the shape of a fan.
I don't care to admit it, but I may be developing presbyopia. Growing old is a difficult thing.
He made the best attempt he could at a self-deprecating smile, but his face was flushed and his lips were pale and drawn.
At any rate, I'll leave the rest to you. I'm feeling awfully tired, so if you don't mind, I'd like to rest for a bit.
He shoved the cards into Junpei's hands and walked quickly away. Junpei looked at him
I
quizzically.
was simply looking at cards that tired him out.
Junpei looked down at the cards in his hands. All of the pictures were quite clear, and each person was easily recognizable. Was Ace's vision truly so
But
bad?
if it wasn't, what had made him so uncomfortable?
You haven't noticed, huh? I didn't even need to be told about this to know what it was, dog. Because I've seen it in like 2 other pieces of media. But that's irrelevant. That was when Junpei remembered he had heard it from Lotus much earlier.
Prosopagnosia. Well,
Yes.
Maybe he's got prosopagnosia?
Junpei took another look at Ace. He sat at the base of the stairs, looking quite depressed.
Well, he looks depressed enough to have it.
If he really did have prosopagnosia, there was no doubt it was a depressing and painful experience. Still, Junpei didn't feel like patting him on the shoulder and telling him everything would be alright would help that much. Still, Junpei felt perhaps it was best he keep Ace's condition to himself, at least for the time being. So how is this going to come back to bite us, or Ace, right? This is clearly going to be important. It's too specific not to. At some point, is somebody going to switch watches, and he's going to get caught out? Doing his best to clear his mind for the task at hand, he turned back toward the boxes.
Time to solve the 9 boxes puzzle. Ace's card is in box. I just need. And. Yeah. What the? 9, I guess.
Weird puzzle, honestly, because it's not like there's much to it, but that's the case with quite a few puzzles also. And now we go down here. Leave no one behind. Please engage. Thank you.
Look, it's.
Wrong screen.
7 and Lotus.
They didn't look happy.
We've got a problem.
Clover is gone.
What?
All right, no, this is normal.
What do you
I thought something was
when?
different.
Why?
You two.
Yeah.
But
She just.
there were.
She wouldn't.
She just.
And
She must.
we
Called.
So
But
it was.
Clover.
It was a.
And it was.
We think.
We ran out of Clover.
When did this?
We got.
You certain? So you.
No.
Very well then. We haven't.
Yeah. She.
No.
All right.
Shout.
That's what.
Wait, that was different. June bit her lip. She knew, as Junpei did, that there was only one thing to see in the shower room, and it wasn't pleasant.
We might as well check, right? Let's go.
There was a screwdriver stuck between the door and the
Good.
frame.
We can still get in.
We should thank Seven later.
Junpei and June slipped through the door and moved down the hallway and stepped into the shower room.
No luck.
Yeah. I don't think she's here.
June's voice was faint, and she placed her hands over her mouth. Her face looked a little green.
The smell is horrible.
The stench in the room was almost unbearable. It had grown far more unpleasant since their last visit. If Junpei hadn't eaten a lunch, he would have had difficulty. If Junpei had eaten a lunch, he would have had difficulty retaining it. He wanted to leave the room as soon as possible, but he had to be sure, and the only way to be sure was to check the other side of the divider.
Let's check the back, just to be sure.
June offered no resistance and nodded weakly to Junpei as he headed around the divider. He stopped at the corner and turned his head.
No, she's not here.
As he'd expected, Clover was nowhere to be seen. The only thing on the other side of the divider was a dead body laying in a reddish-brown puddle of dry and drying blood. Weird sentence. Now, you've been told about the arm. You should notice it.
Snake, just where did your sister go?
Junpei whispered to what was once Snake. He'd asked rhetorically, of course, as there was no way he'd get an answer. He gave a deep sigh.
Such a horrible way to go. The skull shattered, the left arm's...
The bright white of the ulna was clearly visible through the remains of skin and muscle. Bright white. Ulna.
Bones.
He's a boneless Andy. Junpei remembered something Clover had told him in the laboratory.
My brother's the accident.
He's a boneless Andy.
Of course. Of course. Why didn't I realize it earlier?
Well, because you literally didn't know, so, you know. Clover had told Junpei that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. But the left arm of the corpse behind the divider was quite clearly a real human arm, or at least it had been once. That meant the corpse.
Jumpy?
June's unsure voice at Junpei's suddenly strange behavior drew his attention back to her.
Sorry for making you wait. Let's go.
Tell her? Tell her? Why would you keep it a secret? Junpei and June headed back toward the large hospital room. They stepped through the door and out of the shower room. Down the hallway they went, searching for Clover in every corner. They'd reached the stairs when... Seven appeared, breathless and yelling.
Junpei! June! Where were you guys?
He looked pale and his face was drawn. Something terrible had happened. Junpei's breath caught in his throat.
Did something happen?
Seven drew a shaking hand across his face and gulped down a breath of air.
Clover is dead. I found her in the first-class bathroom.
All sound ceased for Junpei. The world was an empty, muffled expanse. Then he began to hear his own breathing. June's mouth moved, but he heard nothing. She tried once more, and then her energy was gone, and she collapsed against the wall. He could have helped her, but he hadn't, and now she was dead. So he stood there, frozen in place.
Clover. Clover, why? Why did this happen?
He forced his body to move. Each step felt like another nail pounded into his heart. Finally, he was in front of her. He knelt and placed 3 fingers against Clover's neck. No pulse, no breath. But she was still warm, and her eyes were closed peacefully. It would have been easy to think she was sleeping. Easy, that is, were it not for the slowly expanding puddle of blood beneath her. He traced the source to her back, a gash just beneath her shoulder blade. Was the weapon a knife, perhaps? If it was a knife, the killer had taken it when they left. When he closed his eyes, he saw Clover's smile.
Clover.
Her innocent smile, her energy. He would never see her smile
No
again.
way.
He could have done something. He could have helped her. His stomach twisted itself into a sickening knot.
Let's get out of here, June.
Junpei lifted a limp June from the floor and carried her from the bathroom.
Are you all right?
It was a foolish question, and he knew it.
Yes, I think so.
She lied. Her voice was weak. The fever had gone down, but the emotional scars she'd received were not likely to recede as quickly. Junpei laid his hand on her shoulder, and they walked back to the bedroom.
You should get some rest. Here, the bed. Can you sit?
Yes.
She nodded once and then stared at the floor. There were 4 others in the room. Ace, Lotus, Santa, and Seven. They all stared at nothing, their faces drawn and tired. After a while, they drifted into the bathroom to see Clover's corpse themselves. Once everyone was back in the bedroom, Junpei walked slowly to the center of it and looked around at the slumped figures gathered there.
Who was the first to find the body?
Me.
Seven spoke from behind Junpei. He turned around. Seven's hand was up.
Why did you come to this room?
To look for Clover. Why else? I found her body in the bathroom. As soon as I did, I ran outside. I got to the top of the stairs by the casino and yelled as loud as I could. Hey, guys! I found her, but it's bad. She's in the bathroom in the first-class cabin. Come quick! Or something like that. Then I went back to the bathroom. Ace, Santa, and Lotus showed up real soon after that. But I guess you two hadn't heard me or something because you didn't show. So I took off down the stairs to look for you. After that, I mean, you know the rest, right?
Junpei nodded and closed his eyes. There was one more thing he needed to ask.
Seven. There's one more thing I'm worried about.
What?
You stuck one of those plates in between the door and the frame, right? Why did you do that?
What do you mean? He did it to keep the doors open.
Come on, didn't I already tell you that? I did it so that the door wouldn't lock.
This ended up being useful, you know.
So we could come back to this room? Oh. You think I did it?
Well, I don't know. That kind of depends on what you say, doesn't it?
I've got to be honest with you, this is pretty tenuous evidence. Like, how was he to know any of this would occur? There's too many things contingent on each other for this to have been planned, right? Because you would have to assume that A7 knew somebody was going to go off on their own, and that they would come here specifically, even though probably not everyone even knew he did it. It's not realistic.
For crying out loud.
Seven sighed and shook his head.
Follow me.
There were 2 doors standing next to one another. He opened one on the right.
A closet?
Yeah.
Seven stepped inside. He stood in front of one of the shelves that filled it and gestured towards a small box. The box was a small metal cube. He looked at Junpei.
This is the reason. This safe. We couldn't open it when we were getting through this room. I figured there might be something pretty important in it. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
That's super valid, but I don't think you even needed an excuse. I don't think it's suspicious behavior regardless of what was in the room.
I figured eventually we might figure out what the numbers are for the safe. And if we did, I didn't want to screw around with door 5 again. So I put the plate in the exit door so we could get back in that way. You get it now?
Yeah.
Junpei nodded and looked at the safe. He grabbed the handle and shook it.
Figured it wouldn't open.
It was as locked as it had been when Seven found it.
Huh?
There was one change, however.
This is...
Just underneath the safe was a pile of fine reddish-brown powder.
rust.
Junpei stared at it, considering.
If there's rust here, that means... Has someone opened the safe?
Junpei left the closet. Seven followed him back to the bedroom.
Huh?
It was cold and quiet. No one spoke. They sat, frozen in place by shock and grief and fatigue. The room felt tiny and oppressive, and the thick metallic smell of blood filled the room. Junpei turned and headed for the living room. Anything to get out of there. Hello, my spudling.
Maybe there's another clue. Anything that might lead us to discover who stabbed Clover.
As quickly as they could, they searched around and under the beds and in the corners. His eyes caught on the door. The door that led to the passageway of door number 5.
Behind this door. The ninth man's body is behind there. Maybe I should have another look at it, just in case.
Quietly, he pushed open the door.
Ugh.
The smell hit him like a blow to the face.
Oh, the hell? This smell is...
His lungs contracted, unwilling to inhale such fetid air. Acid boiled up from the base of his stomach, churning what little food was there into a violent froth. Not very convincing. You can do better than that. It was too much for him, and he vomited. A thin stream of yellow water and bile splattered onto the floor. He wiped his mouth weakly and stared at the dead body. Is the watch gone? Chunks of torn flesh laid in an arc across the body. What remained of his intestines had slid out onto the floor. The pool of blood that framed it was half dry, but so thick that it had taken on a texture not unlike that of an egg yolk prepared sunny side up. On the floor next to the broken man's head lay his glasses, cracks spidering across the lenses. The bloodstains near them had nearly dried, like scabs on the floor.
Wait.
That was when he noticed.
It's gone. His bracelet. It's gone. It was right next to the glasses.
But now, it was gone. The number 9 bracelet was gone.
But why?
So, I've been thinking about, like, switching the bracelets this whole time. But what if, like, they took this watch, and then when they found the other body, they smashed it so that it would look like it was Snake? Had someone taken it? He was turning it over and over in his mind when he heard Seven's voice.
Where'd Junpei go?
It had drifted out to him from the living room. Junpei walked slowly out of the hallway.
Oh, there you are. Were you looking for something in the hallway?
Seven looked at Junpei. It looked up as Junpei
Yeah.
entered the room.
Did you find something?
He thought for a moment before he responded.
No, nothing.
Technically, it wasn't a lie. He hadn't found anything. In a way, in fact, that was the problem. Something he'd expected to find hadn't been there. The ninth man's bracelet.
What's up?
Well, I wanted you to take a look at something.
What is it?
Seven led Junpei back to the bathroom.
Clover.
As Clover's corpse came into view, he felt his heart flip and then fall to the bottom of his stomach. Something between a sigh and a groan escaped his lips.
What was it you wanted to show me?
His voice was hollow and empty.
I searched Clover's body again. A real shame. She was stabbed once in the back, probably by a knife or something. And I found this.
As he spoke, he moved around Clover's head, then knelt down and flipped open her right hand.
What?
She was holding a piece of paper.
I haven't actually looked at it yet. Didn't want to disturb the crime scene, you know? Basic stuff. Well, I did borrow one thing.
What?
He wasn't sure what that meant, but it likely didn't matter. The paper was more important.
I'm opening it.
He picked it up and carefully opened it. There were 2 sentences written on it.
Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand.
What is this? Some kind of secret code?
Seven peered over Junpei's shoulder at the note. Junpei stepped away from Clover's body and into the living room. He began to pace, attempting to decode the note.
Code.
The first clue was likely the phrase sinister hand. Sinister hand means... The left hand? That's the one that they have the watches on, right?
Sinister was a term used in heraldry that meant to the left of the bearer of a coat of arms.
Well, that is not even remotely close to what my line of reasoning was.
The left hand. The left hand. What does the left hand mean?
Junpei looked at his own left arm. At the bracelet on his
Does
wrist.
the darkness of the sinister hand have something to do with the bracelet?
He examined the bracelet
There's
closely.
two things sticking out on either side of the face. The left and right sides of the face. Left and right. Left and right. Right and left. Truth is gone. Truth gone.
Truth gone. Maybe those two words. How about reading them backwards?
How about reading them backwards? Gone and truth. Enog and Hittert. What am I saying? Those aren't even words. I doubt that's what the riddle was trying to say. Wasn't a bad idea, though.
Truth gone. Gone truth. Truth gone.
What else could gone and truth mean? Truth, of course, means something that is correct. Something that's fact. In other words, something that is right. You could then safely assume that gone means left.
Okay.
After all, after someone left, they were gone. But in this case, they clearly refer to their directional homonyms. Then truth equals right, and gone equals left.
Pro busted out homonym. Junpei looked at the bracelet again.
The left and right of the bracelet. These two things sticking out. So if I...
Press them in the following order. May I look at the note again? That's a lot to throw at me. Whoops, I clicked out of the window. Like, that's a lot of directions to throw at me without letting me look at the note. I'd like to look at the note so that I could try and work this through. But I guess that's not allowed, so I'm going to be guessing, because I don't remember exactly what the note said. I'm feeling that one. And then... Huh? One after another, 8 numbers flashed on, then off of the face of Junpei's bracelet.
Wait, did it just...
He checked one more time to be sure. Huh.
14383421.
Huh? Hey, what are those numbers?
Junpei didn't answer. He couldn't answer. He had no idea what they were either. Besides, he was sure he would never... He was sure he would forget the numbers and the order they came in if he said anything.
14383421.
So then I said them in my head. Muttering the numbers to himself over and over, Junpei headed toward the bedroom.
14383421. 143834. 143. 14.
Before long, he found himself in front of the safe again. Its lock was the only device he could think of that required a sequence of numbers such as the one they'd just discovered. Besides, someone had opened the safe at least once already. Had Clover come to the bedroom to open it? Junpei slowly dialed in the numbers the bracelet had given him.
1 to the 4 and... Oh. Bingo. I knew it was for this.
A small, telltale sound of a lock opening. He grabbed the handle, took a deep breath, and pulled it out.
Oh, is this some sort of note?
Inside was a piece of paper. It was roughly the same size as the one Clover had been holding.
Let's see.
Junpei picked it up. This is what it said. Fact 1. The nonary game was played once before, 9 years ago. Fact 2. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. Fact 3. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO, Gentaro Hongal, Cradle Pharmaceuticals Chief of Staff, Nagisa Nijisaki, R&D Supervisor, Teraki, right? Kutaba, majority shareholder in Cradle Pharmaceuticals, Kagechika Musashido. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved, I now state the truth. 0. Junpei left the closet. There were 5 people waiting for him in the bedroom. Ace, Lotus, Santa, 7, and June. He looked at each of them in turn, then slowly placed his hands into the pockets of his vest.
Sorry, but do you think you could all come with me?
Come with you.
I want all of you to go to the big hospital room.
Why?
There's something I want to be sure of.
What do you want to be sure of?
I want to know if the person I suspect is really the culprit.
Wait, then you're saying...
Yeah, I think I've got it figured out. I know who killed Snake and Clover.
The atmosphere in the room changed. Grief was suddenly gone, replaced by a tension like a strap of leather stretched to its limit. Didn't you... Well, oh, you know, I was going to say, didn't you know Snake didn't die, though? But of course, you're just not telling them. Grief was suddenly gone, replaced by a tension like a strap of leather stretched to its limit. 5 sets of eyes stared at Junpei. He pretended not to
Anyway,
notice.
if you could all please move to the big hospital room. I'll explain everything as soon as we get there.
Alright, I'm curious to see what he's cooking, because I'm not certain myself, other than that the shareholder is Santa, because he's the fucking crypto bro. Then, almost as if on cue, the big bit. Yeah. They heard it all. They all heard it. It was the bell from the clock in the main staircase. The bell rang 5 times, then
It's 5
ceased.
o'clock.
We've only got 1 hour left.
We don't have a lot of time left. Let's go.
Slowly, one by one, they followed Junpei out of the bedroom.
Actually, before we get started, I was hoping you could do something for me.
Junpei stopped in front of door 3 and turned around.
Ace, 7, and Lotus, could you please place your palms on the red?
Huh?
Why? If we need to get to the shower room, why don't we just...
No, we're not going inside. Once you've authenticated, step away from the door.
Why?
Please, just do it. Or perhaps you don't want to know who killed Snake and Clover.
Junpei's implication was clear, and 7 understood perfectly.
Fine.
What about you, Ace, Lotus?
Very well.
Sure.
What is he cooking? Quickly, they pressed their palms onto the red. Once they had finished, they stepped away from the door, as Junpei had instructed. 3 asterisks shone from the red's display panel.
I have this idea. I don't think this device responds to a hand placed on it. It instead reacts to a bracelet being brought close. You don't actually need a hand.
Junpei approached it and held his bracelet over the scanner. He made quite sure he didn't place his palm on it, instead only brought his bracelet near it. The 4th asterisk
I knew
appeared.
it.
Just as Junpei had expected, it was possible to authenticate without placing one's palm on the red, so as long as the bracelet was brought near it, Junpei pulled the lever down. Door 3 opened like a hungry mouth. 9 long seconds passed. And the door shut, unfed. Junpei walked slowly back to the others, who were waiting some distance from the door, talking to one another. Santa and June joined them as well.
Huh?
It looked as though they hadn't found a chance to break into the conversation yet. As Junpei approached, they turned to look at him, curiosity plain on their faces. Before long, the other 3 did as well.
What was that about?
How should I know?
Clearly, they were all expecting some answers.
Thanks. I appreciate your cooperation.
Clearly, they'd hoped for something more forthcoming. He continued.
By the way, Ace, would you mind if I asked you something?
What is it?
Do you know who I am.
What? What kind of question?
Just answer it, please. Who am I?
You're Junpei, of course. Who else would you be?
Unfortunately, that's the wrong answer. Actually, I'm Santa.
What?
Ace's voice was full of surprise, but it was also tinged with confusion and fear. Everyone else looked nearly as surprised. Santa looked especially shocked to discover he was actually someone else. If he spoke, however, the trap would be exposed. Junpei quickly continued.
The clothes I'm wearing, I borrowed from Junpei. And the clothes he's wearing are mine. We had a little swap.
That's ridiculous. Impossible.
So, you're saying I'm not Santa?
Of course you aren't.
Why? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa?
If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. 1 plus 7 plus 8 plus 3 equals 19. 1 plus 9 would be 10. The digital route would be 1.
That's a pretty obscure answer, dog. Why didn't you just say I don't look like him?
But the 4 of us just opened door 3. You can't possibly be Santa. Your bracelet number isn't 3.
It's 5, right?
Only then, when it was too late, did Ace realize his mistake. He set his jaw and glared at
You're
Junpei.
exactly right. My bracelet number is 5.
As he spoke, Junpei lifted his wrist up to show everyone the bright 5 on his wrist.
Sorry, Ace. I tricked you. Of course, I'm not really Santa. I'm Junpei. Who could possibly think I was? It's obvious I'm not. To think I was? Ridiculous. But I guess you couldn't see just how obvious it was. I asked you before, didn't I? What makes you so sure I'm not Santa? And you answered. If you were Santa, then door 3 wouldn't have opened for us just now. Most people wouldn't say something like that. The first thing that would come to anyone else's mind wouldn't be the bracelet number. There'd only be one thing they'd say. One sentence. You don't have his face. Ace, you have prosopagnosia. Am I right?
Junpei's voice was quiet and calm. He knew the truth, so did Ace.
Prosopagnosia.
The others looked confused.
What's that?
No clue.
Prosopagnosia is...
They heard Lotus begin to explain it to them. Ace glanced at them and then turned back toward Junpei and sighed.
Very well. I confess. I have prosopagnosia. I cannot differentiate human faces. Is that what this was about? You want to mock me for my disorder?
No, not at all. I'm not making fun of you at all. In fact, I feel kind of bad for you. No, the reason I brought this up is that there's an excellent chance that the person who killed Snake has prosopagnosia.
Ace's face tightened, his eyes narrowed.
What do you mean?
Junpei leaned casually against the iron gripping of one of the beds.
I'll just come right out with it. I think it was you, Ace. You killed him.
Junpei was suddenly very aware of the 5 pairs of eyes on him. He had their undivided attention now. The room had grown very, very quiet. Junpei took a deep breath.
That's ridiculous. What possible evidence do you...
I have 3 pieces of evidence. The first, think back to a few hours ago. You made us argue over the 3 doors here in the big hospital room. There was no way all 7 people could go through them. Lotus suggested that we sacrifice one of us.
Lotus looked away awkwardly. Junpei glanced at her and continued.
Then you, Ace, said, I'll stay here. Why would you say something like that? It's pretty simple, really. You didn't want us to see the dead body in the shower room. You see, if Ace stayed behind, there were only 2 doors the rest of us could go through. Doors 7 and 8. There was no way we could get through door 3, the shower room. You knew that, didn't you, Ace? That's why you volunteered to stay behind.
Come on now. I think that's going a bit far.
That's pretty circumstantial at best. I have to give him that one. I think that one's pretty tenuous.
I can understand if you're jealous of my bravery, but...
Okay, man. Whatever.
Please don't devalue my actions. I only wanted to save the rest of you. Surely you can understand my altruism.
Altruism, huh?
Junpei stared off into the darkness at something very interesting and lazily began to dig a persistent bit of wax out of his
You
ear.
already knew, didn't you? You knew that whichever doors we took, eventually we'd end up back in the big hospital room.
What on earth are you saying? Of course I didn't know that. How could I have?
Really?
Yes.
Pleading was not something they'd heard from Ace before. Junpei pulled the piece of wax from his ear, glanced at it, and flicked it off into the darkness.
Oh well, that's cool. I've still got 2 more pieces of evidence that say you're the killer. The second is that, as I said earlier, you have prosopagnosia.
Then you mean to imply that a person who can't distinguish human faces must be a bad person?
Precisely. What other point could I be building up to?
Junpei, they call that prejudice.
No, I am not that stupid.
Then why?
Well, before I explain, I suppose there's something I should tell you. The corpse in the shower room. It's not Snake's.
What?
Ace's face went pale. The others looked confused as well. If the body wasn't
I didn't put
Snake's...
it together right away, but there was something Clover told me. She said that Snake's left arm was prosthetic. He'd lost his real arm in an accident.
He's a boneless Andy. I clicked out of the window again, I apologize.
But the body we saw in the shower room, let's call him Guy X. Guy X's left arm was definitely flesh and blood. In other words, Guy X couldn't possibly have been Snake.
Oh God. No. That's impossible.
Ace had started muttering deliriously to himself, shaking his head back and forth. Junpei was long past
Let's
caring.
say, hypothetically, that the killer didn't have prosopagnosia. If that were the case, he would immediately realize that Guy X wasn't Snake. Even if the clothes were the same as Snake's, their faces would be completely different. It would have been obvious they were different people. And yet, they still killed him. Why? Why would they kill a stranger who'd only just shown up? On the other hand, if the killer did have prosopagnosia, it makes sense. They thought Guy X was Snake and killed him.
Wait. Wait just a moment.
I'm not 100% on that either, because I can imagine several circumstances in which you might, like, want the guy dead, you know?
Let's say you're right, and I mistook Guy X for Snake. Even if I did, I would have had no motive to kill him. Why would I want to kill Snake?
I can think of at least 2 motives. 1, Snake knew about your past. If he ever revealed what he knew, that would have been really bad for you. You really didn't want that to happen. So to make sure Snake's mouth stayed shut, you killed him. 2, Snake had a grudge against you. You knew that. Or at least you could have easily assumed he did. Even without exposing your identity, he was a threat to you. You never knew when you might be attacked. You couldn't ever let your guard down. Every moment was a moment he might try something. You didn't want that kind of danger hanging over you. So you...
Hey, hold on a minute.
For the first time since the beginning of Junpei's explanation, someone besides Ace spoke.
What's the past that Ace wouldn't want us to know? Why did Snake have a grudge against him?
Look at this.
He handed Santa a small piece of paper.
What's this piece of paper?
Santa squinted at the paper and began to
The
read.
nonary game was played once before 9 years ago. The person with the number 2 bracelet attended the game 9 years ago. It was planned by the following 4 people. Cradle Pharmaceuticals CEO Gentaro Hongo. What is this?
Slowly, Santa looked up from the paper. His eyes met
It's
Junpei's.
the message from Zero. It was in the safe in the first class cabin.
Then suddenly,
Give me a break!
Ace's face was red and shaking, and his voice was full of fury tinged with desperation.
That paper is a lie! Someone is trying to frame me!
Me. You said me, right?
Junpei's eyes narrowed and the trap began to close. Ace inhaled sharply. His eyes flicked off Junpei to something, anything else.
Wouldn't that mean you're admitting you're Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals? Or am I mistaken?
It was though a switch had been flipped. The color drained from Ace's face, and as he realized what he'd done, his eyes went wide.
Very well. I admit that much. I am certainly the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceutical, Gentaro Hongo. So what if I am? I don't know anything about this nonary game that supposedly took place 9 years ago. Everything on that scrap of paper is bullshit. Someone is trying to set me up, you see? First of all...
Ace stammered as he tried desperately to work himself into a more tenable position.
Junpei, you're claiming I did this all by myself. Think that over, all right? How could I have killed Snake all by myself?
Not Snake. It was Guy X.
I don't care who it was. You said the killer put this other man into door 3, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Then I couldn't have possibly done that alone. I couldn't have opened door 3 with only myself and Guy X.
Nope. You could have.
Huh?
Ace's face was tight and his teeth were clenched. Junpei fixed him with a level stare. The trap was about to close.
Actually, Ace, when you were unconscious, I took something from you. Remember when you were injected with that anesthetic and fell asleep in the big hospital room? Yeah, back then, I took this.
Junpei put his hand into his pocket.
No! You couldn't have!
Ace's right hand moved. Junpei
I
smiled.
got you, Ace. Your right hand there tells me all I needed to know. You want to tell me what you were so worried about? What's in your pocket? It's the number 9 bracelet, isn't it? Ace, Guy X, and the 9th man's bracelet. That was all you needed to open door 3. That's how you killed Guy X all by yourself, Ace. All you needed was the number 9 bracelet in your chest pocket.
Ace lowered his head from where it had stopped, halfway to his hand from where it had stopped, halfway to his pocket. He looked down at the floor, his face hidden from Junpei. All he could see was the corner of Ace's mouth, twitching like a dying fish.
If you want to play innocent, that's fine by me. Go ahead, tell me. I don't have the bracelet, if that's what you want to do. But if you could take off your coat and hand it to me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll have to take it from you by force. Right, Seven?
Yeah, it'd be my pleasure.
Seven cracked his knuckles with a sound like gunfire. Ace roared with laughter. He threw his arms wide and his head back and laughed, filling the room with a sound that scarcely belonged there. Then it stopped. His arms came down and his head dropped to look straight ahead at Junpei. Oh, fuck. He's got the evil sprite. Oh, fuck. His face was flat and cold, devoid of any emotion.
Well done, Junpei. As you so correctly deduced, I have the number 9 bracelet. I retrieved it while we were searching for the missing hardware for the rig. I left the room I was supposed to search and headed to the first-class cabin on B-deck.
His voice showed no emotion, no sense of remorse or interest. It was almost bored, as though he were reciting an especially dull corporate letter.
My purpose was to obtain the number 9 bracelet. 9 is a potent ally in the nonary. Adding 9 to any set of numbers won't alter the digital root. As you can see, 9 is a very useful number here. With it, one can go anywhere, with anyone. It is, I suppose you could say, a game changer. So I made for the first-class cabin to obtain it. In mere moments, I successfully acquired the number 9 bracelet. There was also an unexpected bonus. The knife the 9th man had used. I quickly pocketed both of them and left. I made my way back to where I was expected to be. That's when I ran into Snake. Well, this guy X, actually. I spotted him ahead of me.
Yeah, who was this guy, by the way?
He was heading for the large hospital room and hadn't noticed me. The man wearing Snake's clothes arrived at door 3. When he stopped, I walked up behind him and called out, "Snake." He turned around. He said nothing. His mouth simply hung half open. He seemed dazed somehow, almost like a man half asleep. Perhaps he had been drugged. It wasn't important. I tend to gloss over little things like that. I was certain that man was Snake. I knew Snake had taken part in the nonary game 9 years ago. Being blind, it made sense that he didn't recognize me immediately upon our first meeting. But why then hadn't Snake said anything to me later? Surely he hadn't forgotten what had happened to him in the nonary game. But not once did he attempt to confront me. Did his lack of sight prevent him from fully recognizing who I was? Or perhaps Snake had conspired with Zero to deceive me? Regardless, he was a threat, and it was better to deal with him sooner rather than later. I had to get rid of him before he took action. With quick thinking, my plan went into motion immediately. I held the number 9 bracelet over the red. I waved my own bracelet in front of the red, and then grabbed Snake's arm and shoved his hand against the scanner panel. The door opened. I threw the man through it. 9 seconds later, the door shut. 81 seconds passed.
The man inside the door passed away. Passed away is such a delicate way to put
After
that.
that, I returned to my post as though nothing had happened. After conducting my own search, I returned to the large hospital room when the 1 a.m. bell rang.
Ace's eyes were cold and his cheeks were hollow and pallid. When he spoke, only his lips and tongue moved. The rest of his face was eerily still. Junpei glared at Ace. He took a deep breath and thought about the next question he had to ask. He didn't want to. He knew what the answer would be. He just didn't want to hear it. Junpei swallowed and
Ace,
spoke.
did you kill Clover?
Yes.
Why? Why did you kill her?
She was Snake's sister. It was possible he had told her something dangerous. Additionally, she had gone through door 1. It seemed likely she might have found it.
Found what?
Why don't you go through door 1 yourself? Perhaps it's hidden somewhere.
Seven and Lotus interrupted.
Yeah, but Lotus and I went through door 1 too.
We didn't see anything suspicious.
Yes. I thought as much after I heard your report at the central stairs. I doubt the two of you could find it.
Huh?
But perhaps Clover was different. Perhaps she had found it. I was, therefore, desperate to find her. And at last I did, in the first-class cabin. I spoke very calmly. Did you see it?
See what?
Don't act as if you don't understand. You were in the captain's quarters, weren't you?
Uh-huh. What are you talking about?
By the way, what are you doing here, Clover?
What? Nothing.
There's blood on your shoes. It looks fresh. Did you go take a look at the 9th man's corpse? I see. Your silence suggests that you noticed. You saw something, didn't you? You saw that his bracelet was gone.
No!
Clover ran. She made for the exit, but Ace stood in her way.
You aren't going anywhere.
He caught her by the collar as she passed and threw her to the floor, hard.
You're staying here.
No!
She leapt back up and darted past him into the hallway. Ace followed at a run.
Don't you run, little girl.
He was faster.
That was how I killed Clover.
His face hadn't changed. If he felt guilt or remorse or anything one might feel after taking the life of another human being, it didn't show.
You son of a bitch!
Seven's whole body trembled with rage and his voice rumbled with hate. Santa, don't you get high and mighty, you little bitch. Come on. Santa's eyes were bloodthirsty, and Lotus's and June's faces were distorted by anger and hatred. Come on, Santa. What are you getting all high and mighty for, huh? You didn't tell me you're better? Ace looked at them and smiled. It was a cold, cruel thing with no humor in it. He shook his head and
I
sighed.
admit it. I've lost. I have lost. Completely and utterly. Don't misunderstand, Junpei. I didn't lose to you. I lost to Zero, not you.
Okay, man.
I'm rather disgusted with myself for falling into such a simple trap. I looked the fool. And it was a trap. Make no mistake. I was trapped and manipulated by Zero. The man I killed in the shower room? If he wasn't Snake, then I have no idea who he was. But he was wearing Snake's clothes. And that was no coincidence. He had also been injected with something that reduced his cognition and prevented him from identifying himself or resisting me. And we can't forget the components that were removed from the Red before we arrived. I have no doubt that Zero planned all of this. Zero made sure I would kill that man. It follows, of course, that Zero knew everything I would do. That I would try to take the number 9 bracelet. That I would try to kill Snake.
Suddenly, Junpei remembered the paper he'd found in the safe. He remembered the last words Zero had written on it. I must punish them for the innocent lives they sacrificed. This is the only warning they will receive. That innocent souls might be saved. I now state the truth. Zero. He remembered the other words he'd heard from Clover.
I think Zero is one of us.
One by one, Junpei looked at the 5 people standing in front of him. Ace, Santa, June, Seven, Lotus.
Zero is one of us? No. Wait, there's one more person. Snake. The man who died in the shower room isn't Snake. That means he's almost certainly still alive. Maybe Snake is Zero.
I don't think so. I think he's a logical pick because of what happened, but I think Snake is just a means to an end in this regard, right? Like, that's just something Zero did to get to Ace, for which Snake was the only applicable person.
Maybe he made Guy X wear his clothes so that we'd all think he was dead. Where's Snake now? What if he's off somewhere laughing at us?
I think he's in the coffin.
If he is Zero, he must have been lying to us about everything else. Is he watching us?
Well, I believe I've finished with my confession. Why don't we get moving?
He sounded as if he'd just finished doing nothing more exciting than describing the weather. For Santa, it was the last straw.
What the hell is this shit?
Says the guy that takes June hostage.
You aren't going anywhere, you son of a bitch! We're gonna leave your ass here to rot!
Why? Because I killed Clover? That's ridiculous. Why are you so upset that I killed the little bitch?
Oh my god. This fucking guy. The audacity. Into the volcano with you.
She was nothing to you. A stranger you only met a few hours ago. Am I wrong?
I don't think Santa gives a shit, genuinely, but you fucker.
You bastard!
Seven roared and lifted a fist that would likely have shattered Ace's jaw. But someone else was faster. It was Lotus. She stepped toward Ace, raised a fist of her own, and drove it straight into his nose.
Blindsiding me with a punch, huh? You've got some fire, don't you? I confess, I rather like a tough woman.
He sniffed and wiped a small trickle of blood from his nose with a raised eyebrow.
Well, maybe you'd like another one then.
Before that, let me give you one of my own.
Huh?
Lotus scarcely had time to blink. Here comes the knife. Ace snaked his arms around her and pulled Lotus's back up against him. In the same motion, he reached into his coat pocket. Oh, he's got the gun. Sick. We love to see it. The revolver. Almost lazily, he tilted it to point at Lotus's head.
If any of you so much as blink, I won't hesitate to pull this trigger. I've already killed 3 people. Don't think I'm not ready to make it 4.
3 people? What do you mean?
Very well. Let me take this opportunity to illuminate you. The person who killed the 9th man was me. Although I suppose, to be more accurate, I encouraged him to get himself killed.
And I'd blame that on Snake. Sorry, Snake.
While we were examining the main staircase, he came to me and told me his name. I recognized it at once, so I gave him a little push. Just a little white lie. It seems the settings for the dead were altered. Now it only requires a single person to deactivate the detonator in the bracelet.
Why, man, you believed that sight unseen? You just took his word for that? That's a fucking rookie mistake right there. That is something you can't take a chance on, brother. Because if you're wrong, you're 100% dead. You can't take that gamble.
Investigate what's beyond door 5. We'll meet again later. And with that...
Okay. Have a good one, guys. I'm going off ahead now. Well then. Why is it stopping? God damn.
Then this is, man, what an idiot. You just can't take somebody's word for something like that. If you're wrong, that's it.
You lied! Open the door, please! I'm begging you! Help me! Please get me out of here!
Get me out of here!
Genuinely quite harrowing. This guy does go for it.
Oh my god, there's no time left! Listen, I was lied to! He lied to me! He put me in here! It was him! He killed me! It was him! Ah!
I had 4 reasons for killing him. As I said before, in the nonary game, the number 9 bracelet is of utmost importance. If I had allowed him to keep such a useful tool, he, or it, would have become a threat to me. As such, I decided that he should be eliminated early on. I wanted the number 9 bracelet. If I could manage to obtain it, I would be able to manipulate the game as I saw fit. I would be unable to acquire the bracelet unless its owner was dead. That's the second reason. Even setting aside his number, he would have been nothing but trouble for me. He was aware of my past. He knew what happened here 9 years ago. It was important that I eliminate him before he was able to disseminate this information. Lastly, I wished to conduct a simple test. A test to see if this nonary game was serious, or a poor attempt at a joke. I needed to be quite sure. As such, I encouraged him to act against the rules so that I might observe the outcome.
Junpei glared at him.
I don't get your third motive. What the hell happened 9 years ago?
Didn't I say? The nonary game was played. I planned it out, and I conducted its execution.
Why? What on earth was it supposed to do?
Well, let's put a bit of a cramp on my Santa theory.
I don't really think I have any obligation to tell you that.
Well, no, I guess not, necessarily. Because Ace is obviously not behind this nonary game, is he? Ace smirked. He was trying to provoke them, and it was working. Although Ace had paid very little attention to Lotus after catching her, the gun had never wavered from her temple. She looked quite pale, and when she spoke, her voice shook.
Hey, what's with this gun? Where did he get this?
Why don't you tell her, Santa?
Santa ground his teeth and glared at
The
Ace.
other side of door 6, we found the gun in the coffin in the cargo room, right?
Which you steal in another timeline, Mr. High and Mighty.
Bastard must have grabbed it when we weren't looking.
Indeed I did. That was a pretty serious mistake, you know. Just saying you intended to leave it behind.
Ace laughed, a short derisive snort, and gave Junpei a sickeningly pitying look.
Well, there isn't much time left. I'll be off then.
Well, where are you going?
Do I really need to explain? I had assumed it would be obvious. I have the number 9 bracelet. And now I have Lotus.
Wasn't there a door with a 9 on it in the room that looked like a church? That's where you're going, isn't it?
And how do you know that?
Santa told me about it while we were looking for Clover.
I see. Well, you are correct. That is my destination. But now I must say goodbye to all of you. Ah, and please, don't forget my warning. Move and I'll pull the trigger. I don't need her alive to open the door, you know.
As he spoke, Ace began backing toward the door, practically dragging Lotus behind him.
Shit! He's getting away!
But we can't risk it.
Junpei, Santa, June, and Seven stood, frozen. Ace had the face of a man gone mad. They had no doubt he would pull the trigger. Ace had reached the exit.
Now, Lotus, open the door for me if you would.
He forced Lotus to open it, then turned and addressed them once more.
Goodbye.
Then he stepped through the door. Fantastic. It felt shut. In the blink of an eye, they were gone.
Damn it!
As soon as Ace and Lotus were gone, Junpei and the others leapt for the door in pursuit of Ace. But as Junpei laid his hand on the doorknob... Oh, come on, man. There was a noise behind him. He looked over his shoulder. June was kneeling on the floor, breathing heavily. Another massive pair of hands. I've clicked outside of the window yet again.
Hey, June, what happened? Are you alright?
Santa ran to June and wrapped his arm around her before she could collapse. She could collapse all the way.
Jesus, you're burning up. Your fever's back. Are you okay?
June's fever had returned, again for no apparent reason. Her eyes were watery and her eyelids drooped. Her breath came in dry, shallow gasps.
I'm okay. Really. I'm fine. You should be worrying about Lotus.
She was breathing hard now, and she could barely summon the strength to talk.
But...
Junpei was torn. He couldn't leave Joan alone in the state she was in. But every moment they waited, Ace was further away. Lotus's life was in his hands. What are you even gonna do, though? What should Junpei do? June's eyes drifted to Junpei's. She managed to muster a weak smile.
Joey, don't worry about me. I just need a little rest. I'll be fine. Don't you remember? I just needed to rest a little bit last time. So please, please save Lotus.
Think about what Ace has already done, Junpei. When he's got what he needs from Lotus, you really think he's just gonna let her walk away?
What are we gonna do, though?
Damn it. You guys go on ahead.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but, like, what are we gonna do?
As soon as June starts feeling better, we'll follow you. Go!
I don't like that. I have this natural distrust of Santa for some reason. She nodded once. She couldn't manage much more. But it was all the confirmation Junpei needed. His resolve was set.
All right. Come on, Seven. We're going after Ace.
Hell yeah!
Santa, you take good care of June. I'm trusting you. Got it.
Santa nodded. Junpei turned before he had a chance to change his mind and started running toward the door. He could hear Seven's heavy footsteps behind
Let's
him.
go.
Junpei and Seven exploded into the hallway, their feet pounding the metal floor as they ran.